New friends, new opportunities, new partners, EG Tax.
Hi, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, and I'm joined in studio with my compadres, the three amigos here, Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. I sit between them because they're really married, and this way we can
Chris,
keep...
give me a hello, Esther.
Hello, Esther.
Yeah, and all right, and for those of you that listen to us on WBEN on Saturdays from 3 to 4, you know that's Chris's favorite.
My tagline.
That's his tagline. The purpose of this show is to answer your tax questions. That we sent out our roving reporter Dominic, who went out and met people all over Western New York, who asked tax questions that I think you might find interesting. Obviously, we just had the most major tax reform passed ever, I think, in the last 30 or 40 years. And so here's the unique situation. When you're doing your 2017 return, you're going to use old tax law because that return is due in April of this year, but it's old tax law. When you're preparing your return, you ought to be keyed up onto what's going to happen next year so you know what to do in the future while preparing your 2017 return in the past.
So that means when I'm doing a tax return this year, I get an extra half hour per client?
Not really. Not really. But the important thing is to make sure that people know what's coming and what just went on.
Right, and you know why we love doing this TV show, our radio show, is because we know a lot of these questions that we're getting asked affects so many people that either they don't want to be recognized on the radio, or they're just too embarrassed to ask, they don't know how to ask, or maybe their tax person doesn't know how to answer the questions. I hate to say that.
I was just with a friend the other day, and they said, oh, I listen to you every Saturday, and my boss and I were having a conversation about, because he listens too, but they don't call. It's so strange. But anyway, it gives us a great opportunity to deal with your questions. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, make sure that you're listening, and if you have any questions, you can go to our website at egtax.com or download our app.
And I wanted to say, if you're afraid to call in or afraid to meet with Dominic, don't forget to go to our website and ask a question, or you can text a question on Saturdays,
Or actually,
too.
you can call. All of our offices are open this
All
time
our
of year.
offices are
9 to
open.
9, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday. The mall offices are open on Sunday, and you can talk to a real person.
New mall
and
location.
we're at the Boulevard Mall this year.
Boulevard Mall, and new location at Lewiston, New York this year,
That's
too.
right. All right, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. We're going to go out to our roving reporter right after these commercial breaks.
I'm attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to look at your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have right now? If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it may be too much. Isn't it time that you talk to an attorney about a fresh start? I've been helping many people in debt over the years, and I don't charge for an initial consultation about debts. Call for a free consultation. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Hi, this is Tiffany Fabian, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. Ryan's 17 plus years of experience saved me money on my premium and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Ryan will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. For all your insurance needs, call Ryan Ferraro at 688-2199. Again, 688-2199.
Wagner Mechanical Air is a multi-service company. We're a commercial refrigeration and HVAC company. We service and install residential and commercial heating and cooling systems. We service and install for restaurants and hotels walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, prep tables, and beer wine coolers, just to name a few. Ice Machine Lease is now available as well. Includes all service calls and cleanings of ice machines. If interested in Ice Machine Lease or our other services, please call our offices today.
At Neutrino Auto, we have what your car needs. We provide car care and maintenance service like no other. All of our service technicians are ASC certified, so you know your car is in excellent hands. Parts, parts, parts! And yes, did we mention we have more parts? And we even service and have parts for tractors. cars, we sell them too. Here at Neutrino Auto, we have everything that you need to hit the pavement today. Call us today. Neutrino Auto, quality service since 1927.
Hey everybody, this is Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. 33 of our offices are open 9 to 9, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday. Our mall offices, including our brand new office at the Boulevard Mall, is conforming to mall hours, and we want to help you. And we have our roving reporter, Dominic Taverna, who's out and about talking to people in Western New York. And so, Dom, take it away.
Hey Esther, we're back here in the McKinley Mall with
Valerie?
Valerie. You have a question for the wonderful tax lady. What do you want to ask her?
Well, I own the food truck, the Roaming Buffalo, with my husband, and I hate keeping track of my business expenses. Can I just write them off?
First of all, yum, and second of all, can she?
Okay, nobody likes keeping track of their business expenses, but we have a solution, don't we?
The app.
We got the app.
Yep. The EG Tax app, just go download it. It's free. It costs nothing. You can just take a picture of all your receipts. That way you don't have to have them piled up, rubber banded, paper clips, stapled. You got them all right there, uploaded to the cloud.
It is so cool.
Right, but the most important thing is how IRS law, old IRS law, because for 2018 going forward, the regular employee doesn't have this option, but going backwards, if your employer would pay you or reimburse you, you cannot claim it on your tax return. You have to go to your employer first. So if you're in an accountable plan and you don't give it to your employer, you lose on your tax return.
Okay,
What does
so
that mean?
our app is a great way to keep track of those expenses, especially if you're self-employed or have a
Schedule C.
small
That's what
business.
I was
Okay,
thinking.
so the app, what Chris is referring to the fact is in the
W-2.
2018 return, if you're an employee, those expenses are no longer deductible because they have eliminated the form with which an employee can take those expenses. So you don't like keeping track of those expenses, you're not going to have to keep track of those expenses. But what you need to do is have a heart-to-heart with your employer. That's what's so important, because if you work for an employer that is not reimbursing you, that is maybe giving you a larger salary and expected you to take it, like Chris was saying, on the tax return, and that deduction is no longer available if you're an employee, not if you're a business, right?
Right.
Then what you need to do is have a talk with your employer to put you on an accountable plan, which means
that you all your expenses you're accountable for. You turn in a receipt, you turn in mileage logs, so all the money you want reimbursed, you're turning in to your employer.
And then that
you're
employer,
held accountable.
That employer takes it as an expense on his business, and maybe if you switch to an accountable plan, he could adjust your salary and pay you less, which is fine because still you'll net out
So
in a better situation.
let's just say that you were an outside salesperson or a guy who doesn't want to keep track of his expenses. Let's say his expenses are $12,000 a year and he's getting a $62,000 salary. What he would do is he would take a $12,000 pay cut, and don't go nuts, he takes a pay cut because he then gives his employer the receipts for $12,000. The employer then gives him a $12,000
Tax-free.
a tax-free reimbursement. The answer stays the same. It's still $62,000. And the employer gets a $12,000 deduction for the expenses he paid, not in the form of wages, but he gets it as the accountable plan reimbursement. It's actually going to work out the exact same way, but you need to switch the way you're thinking so that you don't get it in the end.
And then
right?
to go back to Dominic's person he was asking a question to, you can't just expense it. You have to keep track of all your expenses. And then also want to switch back.
And that's why the app is so good.
And that's why. And I also want to switch back. If you are a small business owner, there's also opportunities if you have a room in your house that you solely and exclusively use as an office. You can take an office and home. I don't know why so many of my small business owners are so terrified to take it. If you conduct business and it's a regular place that you regularly and exclusively use for business, you can take a small percentage of your utilities, the repairs you did to your house, maintenance of your house. So an office and home is something that's very valuable if you're missing that
All right.
opportunity.
So, but here's the important thing. is if you are an employee, your employee business expenses are no longer deductible. So our question person, if you're not self-employed, you got to have the conversation with your employer to make sure that your employer puts you on what Chris was talking about, the accountable plan, where you actually every month write out, you download your app from EG Tax where you've taken all your expenses, you give that to your employer, he then writes you a reimbursement check, you're good to go. If you're self-employed, you have to keep track of all those expenses anyway. Again, with the EG Tax app, it goes right into our...
Sorry, I can see, last time I let you go. Let me go this time. Just kidding. So I can see, Esther, have a conversation about this. More employers, if they can, switching their employees to statutory employees.
Okay,
But
but
there's
you
a strict
just can't.
guideline.
There's very strict
Very strict
guidelines
guidelines.
on statutory employee. And a statutory employee is like an insurance agent.
Right.
An insurance agent is entitled to take all their expenses, not on a 2106, but on a Schedule C.
Right.
Any Schedule Cs, partnership returns, corporations, you're good to go. Everything stayed the same. The only person that's getting penalized is the employee.
What were you going
Right.
to say, Chris?
I was going to say, actually, if you go from a non-accountable plan to an accountable plan, you may find out it's actually more to your benefit.
Oh, it is.
Because, first of all, the old law was AMT. You would have
Right,
got hit with
that's
possibly
correct.
altered minimum tax, which totally different beast all by itself. But you're only saving a small percentage. You're
Right.
not getting a $12,000 check.
Right.
You're getting, if you're in the 15% bracket,
15%
you're
of
saving
that.
15% of $12,000.
After it was reduced by 10%, 2% of your adjusted
income.
gross income.
I know the other day on the radio, there was a person who called up and her husband is a W-2 employee who writes off his expenses on his tax return. And she goes, this can't be. And so then actually somebody texted in later that there should be a class action suit to follow.
Well, I
because
have to tell you, as this thing unpeels, as the onion unpeels,
Right.
I think you're going to find people that are very unhappy, especially outside salespeople who are really going to get the brunt of it. But our important thing is, for our questioner, is the EG Tax app will help you keep track of your expenses. If you're self-employed, a small business, partnership, you don't have to worry. You just got to keep track of your expenses. If you're an employee, have that conversation with your employer to make sure, to make sure that, I'm going to hold her down here, to make sure that you go on an accountable plan. Not to mention how, on an accountable plan, do they have to pay FICA
Nope.
on the
No.
reimbursement? You're going to save the
I was
FICA
thinking
as well.
about pastors who
Oh, and pastors are going to get it in the
pastors
neck
who
too.
use the 2106.
That's true. That's true. Okay. I'm Esther Gillies, the tax lady from EG Tax. We have 33 area offices to serve you. You can see taxes are not easy, but we try to make it easy at EG Tax. We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with your questions on the other side.
I'm attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to look at your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have right now? If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it may be too much. Isn't it time that you talk to an attorney about a fresh start? I've been helping many people in debt over the years, and I don't charge for an initial consultation about debts. Call for a free consultation. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Hi, this is Tiffany Fabian, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. Ryan's 17 plus years of experience saved me money on my premium and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Ryan will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. For all your insurance needs, call Ryan Ferraro at 688-2199. Again, 688-2199.
Wagner Mechanical Air is a multi-service company. We're a commercial refrigeration and HVAC company. We service and install residential and commercial heating and cooling systems. We service and install for restaurants and hotels walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, prep tables, and beer wine coolers, just to name a few. Ice Machine Lease is now available as well. Includes all service calls and cleanings of ice machines. If interested in Ice Machine Lease or our other services, please call our offices today.
At Neutrino Auto, we have what your car needs. We provide car care and maintenance service like no other. All of our service technicians are ASC certified, so you know your car is in excellent hands. Parts, parts, parts. And yes, did we mention we have more parts? And we even service and have parts for tractors. Cars, we sell them too. Here at Neutrino Auto, we have everything that you need to hit the pavement today. Call us today, Neutrino Auto, quality service since 1927.
Hey, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We want to help you with your taxes, and that's why we do the show, Ask the Tax Lady. Of course, on Saturdays from 3 to 4, we're on WBEN as well, and you can call in with your tax questions, or if you have any questions, you can go to our website at egtax.com, and we'll be very happy to answer, or...
All our 33 offices are
That's
open.
right. We have people at our offices, and they'll answer your tax
We've got
questions as
people.
well. And you can go to our website. You can call our corporate headquarters. We have people that want to help you, and of course, we want to help you. That's our job. And so, what's so great is this show. We have our little roving reporter, Dominic Taverna, who's out and about, and he's got some questions for us. Dom?
Hello, Esther. We're in our mobile command studio here in Clarence, and we have another email coming in for you. This one's from Dan from Williamsville. It says, I work from home, but I want to work on my couch. Why not?
Well, that kind of goes back to what you were just talking about, Tiff.
Talking about when employees, that things that they can deduct and they shouldn't pass through the opportunity, and that person should rethink working on his couch.
Well, yes and no.
Move the couch.
Well, yes and no. Remember, in 2017, we're doing old tax law.
Yep.
Even though it's in 218, that tax return's due in April, we're doing old tax law. If somebody was working in their home as an employee and they had a room used regularly and exclusively
Right.
for business, then they get the office and home deduction,
Right.
However, in 2018, that same employee working at their home, that deduction would not be available to you unless you were self-employed and working out of your home for your business. So there's quite a change that happened under the change in the tax law, which if you are somebody that does work at home and you're not self-employed or in a corporation or a partnership, it would make you pretty sad. Because in order to take the office and home deduction, you would have to have a room that was used regularly and exclusively for
Right.
business. So our question guy that said that
Move his
that they
couch.
wanted to work on their couch, if they're working on their couch and it's not a room used regularly, they couldn't take the deduction anywhere.
Yeah, it has to be, the only thing you do in that room is your work.
Conduct
So if
business.
it's your living room where you're watching TV, your wife's watching TV with you, your kids are on their iPads,
It doesn't
that's not
count.
an office.
Right.
You have to have 4 walls and a door, separate room, in like a spare bedroom without the bed. You
Right.
have your desk, maybe a couch.
Right.
You could have furniture in there.
Right, that's
You know,
good.
but it has to be solely and exclusively used for that purpose.
And then I can't remiss, I do a lot of pastors' tax returns, and a lot of them get housing allowances, and a lot of them have rooms in their houses that they exclusively use for pastor purposes. And so when you do a
For praying.
when you or consulting or
Right,
reading,
getting ready for
right,
their sermons.
Right, and so when you have a housing allowance, you get to reduce it by your 2106 by your expenses, reduce that housing allowance, and so
In
now
217.
Right. In 2018, it's a horse of a different color.
Right.
And so really the pastors that I do, I really have to guide them and talk to them. And so there's so many intricacies with what's gone down
That's
with
true.
the tax reform.
So the bottom line is our person who wants to work on their couch, if they were working on their couch as an employee in 2017, no dice.
Right.
If they are self-employed, however, and they were thinking of working on their couch, if they want the deduction for the office and home, they want to make sure that they get that room like Chris is talking about, four walls and a door, to make sure that they do take the deduction. Now let's assume that they're self-employed and they're working out of their home.
Right.
What is it that's deductible for the office and home?
Portion of the mortgage interest, a portion of the property taxes if they rent, a portion of their rent, a portion of their utilities, repairs to the
Their
house,
insurance?
their insurance, maintenance,
Which includes
lawn care,
snow plowing.
Right.
You know, all the
depreciation at 39 years.
Chem
right?
lawn, yep.
And then another animal came about a few years ago, and it was the simplified method. So you have the option of taking the simplified method for doing your office and home if it's a Schedule C for 18, or you can do the standard method. And so talk about the simplified method, Chris.
It's simple. $50 per square foot, up to
Of what you
$1,500
use.
of what you use.
Right.
So you don't have to keep track of your utilities and the chem lawn and your lawn care and your
But
snow
again,
plow.
you
But
have to be
have a
self-employed.
Self-employed
Right.
now.
So, well, no.
No, that was the only way to
Right.
do this.
Under 217, this is what's really confusing. As a matter of fact, the other day at church, the pastor had mentioned about the casualty loss. And I was at the back of the church kind of answering tax questions. And somebody said to me, oh my gosh, this now it's really confusing because I got to know the old and the new, and I can do this on the old, but I can't do it on the new. And that's exactly right. We have this big transition year.
Yeah.
So under the old law, if you were an employee and you did have an office and home and you weren't like our questioner who wanted to work on his couch, you are entitled to the office and home
Right.
if you were working.
And-
But under the new law, that would not be deductible to them.
Right. And you know, one of the things we didn't say when we were talking about expenses is your repair, you know, your painting of the house. You know, if you paint your office, that's 100%
Right,
deductible.
deductible.
You paint the whole house,
Direct or
it's
indirect.
the percentage of
Right.
it. And the same thing goes by if you buy, you know, if you bought a new desk for your office, that's 100% deductible.
That's
if
right.
you buy the couch for your office,
And
you
then-
know,
And the other thing is, the
computer.
other thing
That's
with the
what I was
office
gonna
and
say about the
home
computer.
now for the employee, if somebody was working in their home, their commuting was from their home to the first client because they were working,
Yep.
going to work. That's been eliminated too. So you think about the employee in 2018,
that.
you know,
is
Didn't even
getting
think about
so you
that.
got the pastor that's going to get it in the neck,
Yeah.
the outside salesperson's going to
Yeah.
get it in the neck, the
Office and
the
home.
commuting expense that wouldn't have been deductible. And actually, I think you're
As
going to
you
find
peel
as
back the
this
layers of the
as
onion.
as this tax law becomes more after we understand
Mm-hmm.
it more, I think you're going to find many people are going to say, gee, self-employment is looking good because
Right.
these expenses, and if you can be a statutory employee, like an insurance
Right,
agent,
you know,
you'll do
keep,
better.
You keep mentioning the outside sales. How about just the regular union person?
Yeah.
You know, a teacher on union dues or the telephone company.
Oh, that's- you
gentleman.
mean all the miscellaneous, I know.
miscellaneous,
That's
You
true.
know, where we need licenses. We
Right.
have to spend $200
Continuing
a year.
education.
Continuing
Teacher,
It help-
her
just not the
additional
outside
expenses.
salesperson. This law affects 14 million people.
That's true.
Is
a
what I
lot of
heard
people.
In a negative way.
in a negative way.
Right, and the other thing is, we'll talk more about this as the show unpeels too. The child tax credit did go up to $2,000, but only $1,400 of it is
It's refundable.
refundable.
Yep.
But unfortunately, you lost the child tax credit. So,
Right.
well, okay, we can't go into that. I'm Esther Goliath, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back on the other side.
I'm attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to look at your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have right now? If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it may be too much. Isn't it time that you talk to an attorney about a fresh start? I've been helping many people in debt over the years, and I don't charge for an initial consultation about debts. Call for a free consultation. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Hi, this is Tiffany Fabian, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. Ryan's 17 plus years of experience saved me money on my premium and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Ryan will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. For all your insurance needs, call Ryan Ferraro at 688-2199. Again, 688-2199.
Wagner Mechanical Air is a multi-service company. We're a commercial refrigeration and HVAC company. We service and install residential and commercial heating and cooling systems. We service and install for restaurants and hotels walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, prep tables, and beer wine coolers, just to name a few. Ice Machine Lease is now available as well. Includes all service calls and cleanings of ice machines. If interested in Ice Machine Lease or our other services, please call our offices today.
At Neutrino Auto, we have what your car needs. We provide car care and maintenance service like no other. All of our service technicians are ASE certified, so you know your car is in excellent hands. Parts, parts, parts! And yes, did we mention we have more parts? And we even service and have parts for tractors. Cars, we sell them too. Here at Neutrino Auto, we have everything that you need to hit the pavement today. Call us today. Neutrino Auto, quality service since 1927.
Hi, I'm Esther Gillies, the tax lady from EG Tax with Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. The three amigos here want to help you save money on taxes. By the way, I did a misspoke. We didn't lose the child tax credit. We lost some personal exemptions, which is a lot of money. I'll tell you, once your kid turns 17, you lose $2,000 in tax savings. For those of you that don't have children, go get some.
Yeah, and that's
I'm thinking of getting children
and that's
again.
why tax planning is key. I mean, it's more important.
Oh my
than ever.
gosh. Oh my gosh. And that's the important thing is this year you're doing old law. When you're doing this year's return, you're doing new law and preparing. And you want to make sure that you team up with somebody that's going to give you the new scoop while dishing out the old scoop to make sure that you do the best you can, old law and new law.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, there are some big changes. I was just reading this morning about the pass-through and how really in some companies when the owner, if it's a large owner of the company, a subchapter S, is getting a salary, it might be better off for them to retire because of the big tax break the company's going to get. So all of that goes into tax planning too. I will tell you, EG Tax has 33 area offices. Our offices are open 9 to 9 Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday, and we're in most of the malls, right?
Three of the malls.
And then to review the questions that Dominic just went over, one of them was about the office and home, and the other one was about the business expenses. And so those were really two really good questions.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, if you're self-employed and you're worried about your self-employment deductions, or if you're an
Accountable
employee
plan.
and you wonder what to do, we will interface with your employer to help them to make sure that you get the biggest bang for the buck. It'll be a win-win situation, but you got to change it. You know, wanting to change it doesn't help. You got to actually change the way you.
And I got to tell you, it sounds really confusing. Accountable, non-accountable. If you have questions about switching to any of these plans, give us a buzz, because that's what we do all day long. And now more than ever, if you're a W-2 employee who has expenses, talk to us, and you got to talk to the person that you work for so you can make these modifications.
That's true. And don't drink the Kool-Aid. The postcard thing, there's still 77 trillion lines of tax code. And as a matter of fact, I think from what I can read, they're making it more complicated. So you want to make sure that you just don't miss some of these deductions. There are new powerful credits that are coming in, and EG Tax wants to help you. So until next week, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. Join us Saturday on WBEN at 3 o'clock. Have a great week.